Hey guys, Sakafet, it's your boy DD758. Thank you for switching to my ever live because my first live I had some technical difficulties. I had to create a new one. Don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment. Today we're going to talk about basically Married at First Sight. That episode was okay for me, but okay, I'm back. But I'm just having a few technical difficulties today, but let's get to it. I'm going to start off with Vincent and Brianna. Vincent and Brianna basically she spoke about her color. Ooh, that one touched me because what I can say about being dark because I'm a dark skinned brother. Growing up as a child, you do encounter situations like that where because you're darker than other people that people don't they make it an issue, they you get teased and it gets to a point that sometimes you don't really feel comfortable in your skin because you're darker than other people. But then it took me some time, just like Brianna, also to actually get to that point where I just accepted that I'm just that, and it is what it is. But when she brought up that one, I knew exactly how she felt because it happens. But basically, she and Vincent, she spoke about that, and then they jump into the situation with the kids. And she also spoke about she tap dancing. She was going to pick dancing as a career, but then she didn't pick dancing as a career anymore because um like she felt like being an engineer should become more successful or she'll make more money, which makes sense. But then I just do like the way she jumped from that situation she had as a child where it has to do with the color, and she just jumped into that situation where they were speaking about the baby, the high blood pressure. It was just, I think she's a little manipulative with the way she do her stuff, and she's basically just trying to make Vincent feel a bit guilty, like like since that's how she felt as a child, and she spoke about her high blood pressure, and she really don't want to have a child right now, and I more think she's more concerned about the financial stability in that relationship. That's what I think she's concerned about. But it got to the point where Vincent took her to his spot. He's explained about his life in the Dominican Republic and coming to America, how his parents came from nothing, and then he's trying to do his best to basically get to the point where he wants to be successful and be a successful black man. Which I'm from the Caribbean, so I also understand where Vincent is coming from because majority of the times we leave the Caribbean and we go to those international countries, we always try to make a better life for ourselves. So he's basically on the same page. That was basically what it had to do with the two of them, but just that Brie was just a little. I think Bree's just a little manipulative. And he needs, and when they spoke about that issue with the baby, Vincent needs to speak up. That's the biggest problem I'm having with Vincent. He don't speak up. Vincent, you need to say something. Like he always, you can see his body language, like he's like this, like he feels uncomfortable with some of the stuff she says, but he refused to just speak up and say what's on his mind. And I don't know why. I hope he gets to the point where he he speaks up and he say what's on his mind. But Dr. Pepper came with the pepper. I like Dr. Pepper. I wish Dr. Pepper was more like she was more on like throughout the episodes she would step in more than she's stepping right now because to me Dr. Pepper is the only one that bring in the pepper. Pastor Carl, he was alright. Virginia, she was alright. I think it's Virginia, I think that's the name, whatever. But then we had Virginia and Eric. That man gets under my skin, yo. That Eric man. He spoke with Virginia, then he spoke about him growing up as a child, showed us some pictures of himself, and spoke about his family and this and the food. But then he haven't been reaching out to Virginia's family, but Virginia has basically been reaching out to his family. And she talked to his family, but he have never done it. And his excuse was that he was focusing on the relationship. That makes no sense to me. If you want to reach out to Virginia's family, you could have done it from well, they've been together for a month and 2 weeks. So he not making any sense in what he's saying to me. I don't know where he's coming with that. And then that man is just very, very, in my opinion, manipulative because he just throws the I love you word out there. I love you, oh, I love you. And then it's like when he throws that out there, she forgets about all the problems or all the issues they're having. And he needs to stop just throwing the I love you out there because that for me, that's he's doing too much. And basically, I don't know, I just get look, I'm tired of the two of them as well. The two of them, they just don't I think they will not last in the future because they like to sweep the problems under the rug. And then I think Eric's sister, when Virginia had a conversation with Eric's sister, that Eric's sister said he wants a ride or die chick or ride or die woman. Basically, to me, it comes off that she's trying to give Virginia a sign and tell Virginia, be careful with him because if you're not loyal to him, or if you don't, if he can't control you, there's nothing like to him, you're not of substance to him. So she probably need to probably get a divorce and move on with her life. And I think she really needs to listen to Eric's sister. But then she was in that drinking. She made the drink and she was drinking. So her mind is not really fully on what Eric's sister was saying because she was drinking. I don't know why. Why when she having those kind of conversations? Why is she drinking? I don't know. She should stop drinking and listen to people. And Eric reached out to her dad. The dad said, well, she has trust issues. Those people are so broken. Like, why not fix yourself before you come on a show like that? And to make it worse, it's a show where you get married. It's not like you in a relationship, you get married. So it gets to the point where they're married and they're trying to figure it out. And then eventually, maybe if they want to get a divorce, they'll get a divorce. Then we have Clara and Ryan. Clara and Ranch. Yeah, sure. Yeah, right, sure. I think that's the only two words in Ryan's vocabulary. His vocabulary. Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, sure. Because he reached out to Clara's mother. They had a conversation. He said he's trying to speak to her mother to see what blind spots he's missing. He's been missing the blind spots throughout that whole episode. And I think when I just think that man is just weird. I don't know. I'll just put it like that. That man is just strange in his word. Coming from a Christian home, I understand. You don't want to have sex. You want to wait until you feel like you're in love. I understand all that. But at the same time, he's still having Clara lick his licorice, like I call it. And what that don't make no sense to me. Like you've never gotten to a point where you said you love a woman, you don't know what it is to love a woman, but you're still taking the sexual advances from them when you're in a relationship with them, and which is unfair. And he now spoke to the mom, they had a conversation, and then then they met the family, and then the family, the mom was talking about Usher. And I think they were spot on with that Usher because Usher has that song, you got it bad. When you're licking the licorice and you're seeing things not going right, say, girl, you got it bad. Clara, you got it bad. She got it bad. And it gets to the point where all this sexual frustration will just get to her head. And like she said, if you don't say he loves her within a certain amount of time, she's out of that relationship. I don't know. But then we got Jacob and Hailey. Chris and Paige didn't show up on this episode this time, but somebody please tell me what's going on with Jacob, because I got it right here. Am I wrong? In the comments, let me know in the comments. Am I wrong? And look, because I know I've probably seen that type of style somewhere, but look, tell me if Jacob in his Daisy Dukes playing golf, doesn't he look like one of those cowgirls in those high boots? That pants he have on, like where does Jacob shop? Like what's really going on with Jacob? So I want to know in the comments, do you think a man should wear a pants like that? I mean, I want to know. Just let me know what's going on with that man and that pants, because I don't know, like how you expect to attract a woman wearing those kind of shorts. All he was missing was his cowboy hat and his cowboy boots in those pants. You understand? So Jacob he never ceases to amaze me. Like talking to Jacob is like talking to a wall. But at the same time, I am not going to give Haley any respect because Haley comes off as the chick that she wants to win at everything. Like she's very competitive. She looks like she's the type of girl. She has a little bit of Chris in her. Like she wants a trophy husband. You understand? Like she wants to have that trophy husband. She can show up to her friends that dress nicely, that wear some nice shoes. And I don't know, like Jacob just don't fit what Haley wants. So the two of them in this relationship, at this point it makes no sense. And I just can't wait for the season to be over for the two of them to just get a divorce because that's the direction they're going. When Haley asked him about like what did he think about her on the first date, basically like like the marriage, what did he think? He was like, oh well, he asked her at first, and she was like, well, she didn't know she would have ended up in that situation and what it would be. And then he told her about the bracelet, and Haley got mad. Why is Haley mad? Why would you ask a question and the answer you get, you're not satisfied? And then Dr. Pepper, that's why I say Dr. Pepper, she brings the pepper. She told him that she told Haley that he feels a little disappointed that she's not wearing the bracelet because, like she's not wearing the bracelet, and then he felt disappointed. He said he felt disrespected. And then she's like, talking about herself, like how she felt, and she didn't know it was that important to him, and it is just a hot mess. But anyways, let me bring my girl Kia up because this episode, it was a little boring to me. I'll be very honest. But let's just see what Kia has to say about it. Because I don't know, Kia, maybe you can help me out because that it's starting to slow down. I guess maybe because Chris and Paige not there. Well, if they wasn't on this episode, they were basically the highlight of this episode. But I just want to just run through this recap with these two people and the rest of them. So what do you think here?
So I'm with you. I think it's boring for us. I think that's just we just over it because we just can't believe the experts put these people together. It's like, what were y'all thinking? Like, were y'all, drinking NyQuil along with whatever wine while y'all was selecting? I just don't understand the process. So I think a lot of us are over it. Like, how? Like, there's no hope. So we don't have hope for any of the couples. I mean, Brie and Vincent barely hanging on because they probably, like I said, may make it to the end. But let's talk about long term. The way they moving kind of mad. So it's a lot of, red flags there too. So I think we just all over. We like, come on to the end. We want to just see like really what happened. I really want to know why Ryan was not having sex on the tell-all. Maybe somebody could just directly ask him, bro, what was the real problem? We just got some answers that we just want the questions that we want the answers to. That's basically why we're still watching.
But look, can you explain this to me, Kia?
Okay, why you gotta put? I said backstage.
Because I know Jacob is your boy. I know Jacob is your boy, but Jacob needs. Jacob needs a what do you call it? A fashion guru or somebody to do a makeover to Jacob because.
Dee, I think Jacob does a lot of things for just to shock people. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows that he gets under people's skin. So I mean, like, I'm not saying that I want Jacob to be my man, but you're in a relationship. You can get somebody together, be like, okay, in a nice way. Over time, because Dr. Pepper did say that about another couple. Over time, you can influence people a little bit. Like, okay, not for shorts. We're not gonna wear a company picnic. No, that's not a good look. But I think he just did it just to ruffle some feathers. Maybe he was mad at the boss or something. I don't know. Jacob he like to like get up under your skin when you irritate him.
Yeah, the man in some Daisy Dukes. I see people, women wear.
You remember back in the 80s when the basketball players used to wear those short shorts. So leave Jacob.
What basketball players? And I can't recall the basketball players wearing Daisy Dukes.
You the Google person. Google back in the 80s when they had all them tall basketball players wearing Daisy Dukes back in the day. Go type in Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, in the Caribbean, we call that pum pum shots.
Yeah, they were wearing pum pum shorts back in the 80s.
So we got Jacob out there in his pum pum shots and his batty rider.
I'm telling you, they was out there. Watch when you get finished. Go ahead, Google that.
Yeah, I'll Google it later, but I don't know. Like that man is stuck in the 80s. Like when they were playing the what it was, softball or whatever. Jacob kept on missing the balls, missing the balls. I said, that's just like their relationship. He's missing the whole point. I think Jacob only hit those balls 3 times. You understand?
Jacob got so many of my characteristics. When I'm over it.
What?
No, seriously. Like when you over something, I don't even want to play no games with you. I'm gonna lose. Like, sometimes you go somewhere and they be like, oh, we're gonna play this game. Because you notice it's all for cameras. The crew, the producers are like, okay, y'all gotta go on this date, bring your pictures. Come on, it's all staged. Like, who has pictures in their back pocket? So they're telling them, hey, you got to go on this date with Haley. So he just like, I'm not even about to try to win. I don't care. I would rather sit there and watch paint dry. You see every time he's waiting for the people to come. Every episode, go back and watch it, guys. Every scene with Jacob, he just looking like it's just drying so ever slowly. Jacob is over it. He's not into trying. He don't want to play no games with her. He just like, I'm over it. He came with his dress shoes on. Jacob was like, I'm over all this.
Yeah, I understand that. Like he's just over that, but I don't know. Jacob and Haley, those two people at this point they're just a joke on the show.
Take me somewhere and I'm not interested. I'm not hitting no balls. I'm not gonna even try.
So Kia, let me ask you a question. If I was on Daisy Dukes and we went, like, let's say we were going out in public, let's say we, meet some friends and I wore those Daisy Dukes, would you allow me to come near you with those Daisy Dukes?
First of all, we're cool enough where I'll be like, bro, where are you going with those shorts? So I'm gonna be like, brother, come here, brother. Little brother. Nah. You can't hide that. I can't have you out here looking bold and then people pointing at you when we get out. So no, I'm not gonna have you all out here with your little business out. Because what else is exposed when you sit down as a man? All kind of stuff is touching the seat. So no, you can't do that, DD.
No, but yeah, that you see, when he was missing the balls and he wore those Daisy Dukes, that's just his relationship and Haley on the whole. That just summarized Haley and Jacob for me because the clothes don't match. You understand? And then he was missing those balls. So the two of them, they just don't match. And when he kept on missing the balls, the two of them just missed the point from the starting of that whole season. The two of them missed the point.
And I get that part. But I bet you he's not that bad. He just was missing it because he didn't care. If you take me somewhere and I don't care, like, I'm just like, you like, what's the answer to such and such? Oh, Jeopardy. I might just say anything just so you can leave me alone. He just like, basically like, I don't want to play these games with you. I don't even like you. First of all, let's talk about that elephant. So all jokes aside, he still want to know why she didn't wear that bracelet. So I don't want to hit no balls with you. I told you, Jason has so many of my characteristics. If there's an elephant in the room, don't talk to me about nothing else until you tell me that you see that elephant. Let's talk about that elephant. So anything that Haley says at this point, Jacob don't want to hear it. He's over it.
Yeah.
It took the whole episode for us to finally figure out why he was salty about a bracelet.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, why the biggest issue of the two of them was communication and Jacob dry jokes. That was the biggest issue because Jacob jokes. I don't know. He's still persistent with those jokes, which makes no sense to me. I don't get Jacob jokes. Maybe you or the people in the comments get his jokes. I don't. But okay. I don't know.
Okay, Didi. Okay, I don't have to get them, but it's a respect level. How Haley handled how she handled Jacob. Basically she's not a nice person. Her behavior is very it's not good. And so how she handled the whole situation, treating him, and she didn't realize that she was going to come off as like the bad person. And I can just imagine what she's reading right now and how she's feeling. She probably called her mama like, Mama, I can't believe her mama took up for her. But Haley's behavior this whole season is awful. It's garbage. It's trash. I understand someone has a dry joke. Someone doesn't have a good sense of humor. I work with people that are not my cup of tea, but I'm not gonna treat you poorly.
All right, let me do a small experiment. Anybody in the comments, in my comments right now, just put one up if you all think Jacob is funny. Just put ones. If he's not funny, put a two. Because I don't get Jacob jokes, but then it's like Tessa Lee says he's funny. I don't know. I don't find the only thing I find funny about Jacob was those Daisy Dukes. That's the only joke I got when he wore those Daisy Dukes.
No,
I don't get Jacob jokes.
Don't
Okay,
get me wrong.
we have a one.
Before people jump on me in the comments, I do not want a man with Daisy Dukes. No, Jacob wouldn't have went out in public, but it's a nice way that you can say something like, "Hey, you wearing those out? No, let's burn them."
What's wrong with the people in my comments? I'm getting ones. I'm gonna fire everybody in my comments. I'm getting ones. Jacob jokes are funny. My God. Well, Jacob should become a stand-up comedian because I don't get his jokes. Yeah, something wrong with you all in the comments. Bye. Well, anyways, Skia, I understand what you're saying. I get your point, but for me, like I said, the two of them, they just don't mesh. The two of them, they don't. And then I just can't wait for that season 2 to be over so the two of them.
I cannot wait till they give it to Haley because Haley is trying to come off as this good girl. And just to add to what Crystal just said about that bracelet, it's the principle. Y'all not gonna keep dogging my boy Jacob, okay? What's her name?
They got a 0.
Wrong with that whole. First of all, he's a liar. Because when she was sitting on the couch, she told some, oh well, this is like new to me. Like this is the first time I knew that he was upset about the bracelet. But come on, sis, they just showed. First of all, they showed receipts. So they showed each clip where y'all talked about this necklace bracelet. Then when she called her mama, she was like, oh, now we're talking about this bracelet for the 85th time. So girl, stop lying. Don't be treating Jacob. I'm surprised he haven't choked her up yet. And I'm not an advocate of violence, but this chick right here, I'm over her. Like, I don't do my boy Jacob like that. I think he's a nice guy.
Yo, something wrong with your. There's something wrong. It's something definitely wrong with the people in my comments today. I think you should. Yeah, something wrong with you all. Let me see what Diali have to say about that. Diali, tell me if you like. Is Jacob funny, Diali? Please tell me is Jacob, because I think something wrong with the people in my comments, and I hope you're not coming with that same syndrome Kia is coming with, that Jacob is funny, because I don't get Jacob jokes.
Funny or funny looking?
No, I mean when he gives his jokes, is he a funny guy? Like would you laugh at his jokes?
He's dry. He's so dry.
Thank you, Diali.
I'm not an advocate of choking, but I'd have choked him out just for looking crazy. You know, please send him back to Sesame Street, please.
Listen, I think if Jacob was in his right environment, he would be a cool guy. I think he's just awkward, and the whole thing just like so over it. So I don't think he just be sitting around in real life cracking dry jokes all day.
Yeah, he's playing it to the end. He's killing time. He's definitely killing time. But Diali, he's boring as hell.
Diali, you from the Caribbean. You're the perfect person. Look, tell me, can you explain that to me?
What? I mean, which one's Jacob? The one in the booth in the Batty Riders? So...
You know what?
I like that one.
Okay,
which one is Jacob?
See, I can't deal with
Diali said, which one? You see, that's why Kia today, Diali is my best friend. Which one is Jacob?
Somebody help me. Dee and D Alley they're doing too much.
Jacob couldn't do nothing for me, boy. I tell you that right now. He couldn't do no. I mean, what kind of man is going to be dressing like that playing golf? I mean, look at him. Look at him.
Yeah, you remember in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, they say pum pum shots and batty riders.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know which one was wearing the batty riders. Yeah. I didn't know which one was Jacob in that picture.
Yeah, Dee, you brought her in just in time. You know, listen. Y'all like to double team me. I still stand by it. Jacob, you know, I think, like I said, y'all may be wrong, but I think he just does things to entertain you guys.
Yeah. I'm not, honestly, like I said, and I'll say again, I'm not saying Haley is the best. But we need to start a GoFundMe page for Jacob to get Jacob a guru that can basically help Jacob dress. Because
Exactly.
yeah, we need to start a GoFundMe, put some money, and then go to a fashion guru and then have them give Jacob his house, the neon lights, everything. Give
And
him a makeover.
plastic surgery.
What?
Yeah,
I don't know where you're going with all that, DD, because you know that man is facially challenged, as Ablavi would say. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kia. You know that man's going to be free and single. You just make sure you hit him up on Insta, because you ain't going to have no fret getting him. I'm telling you. I ain't looking in no way.
Oh,
Hell
yeah,
no.
I couldn't take him home to my parents. They are both Caribbean too. Exactly. If you take Jacob home to your Caribbean parents and Jacob wearing that kind of pants, they'll say, bring him back where you come from.
First thing my daddy gonna do is pick up a cutlass to him. That's the first thing he's gonna get.
Y'all, you know what? It's Thursday. I'm not even about to, y'all lay off my boy, okay?
Kia, you cannot seriously be serious about him and that man in a pum shorts.
I don't like the shorts. I never said I like the shorts. We all make a mistake. He wore the shorts. Let's say, okay, like you never had a fashion mishap. You be like, okay,
But that's not a mash. That's a fashion collapse. That's not a fashion mishap, because that whole outfit was collapsing.
That man is in pum printout shorts. How can you say that man had fashion disaster?
Yeah, you call it a fashion collapse. It fell to those clothes would make you fall to the floor. It's a fashion collapse. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Laughing. Yeah, I'd laugh him out of town.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that man.
I'm gonna let y'all, have y'all moment, okay?
We stop now. Kia. We know you like him.
Kia, just let us have our moment for Jacob fashion collapse, because that was just a horrible. And look, I suspect he probably showed Haley that picture so he can probably get Haley to laugh. But Jacob just missing the point. Haley is not interested. I'm not saying Haley's any better. Like I'm saying, she has this bad attitude. Like I think she's spoiled and she wants this trophy husband.
She's narcissistic. I would say she's a narcissist. All she did was poke him. Yeah, fair enough. He got the price wrong about the bracelet. 1 minute it's $500. Next minute it's $800. He couldn't make up his mind which one it was. But at the same time, she just dismissed him like he was garbage. And then talking about a $20 hat. She'd have got that wrapped around her neck.
Listen, I mean, okay, first of all, regardless of how much it costs, he gave the girl a gift. All she had to do was have her mother send it to her a long time ago. I mean, it's just a respectful thing. Like, even if I'm not dating anyone, if you take the time and you buy me a gift, I'm gonna put it somewhere in my house. I'm not gonna just put it out on the street, and then when you drive up to my house, you see your gift out on the street, or I don't appreciate it. So anybody that gives me anything, it's somewhere in my house. It's here. I might not like it, but thank you for thinking about me.
Yeah, she didn't give him no respect at all. She knew that wasn't no necklace. Listen, you get a necklace or a bracelet, you're gonna know which one is a necklace, which one is a bracelet. She knew. She was just being a rude little biatch. She was being rude.
Haley, you called it out, Dee Dee, a long time ago. You said she looks like the sorority girl, the mean girl that think that they're all that and they're just mean. They smile. Like, those cheerleader movies and those little nice, nasty girls. And that's how she's coming off. You called it, Dee Dee, so that's what she's proving.
Now, it seems like all the Jacob lovers like Trey. Hey, we never said Jacob was trash. but I just think Jacob is just, he needs, I don't know, he's a little different from a normal guy. But like you say, he's one man's trash is another person's treasure. But we ain't calling him, I ain't going to reach as far as calling him that. But he's a good guy.
I bet you if you met him in a regular, environment, he's probably cool.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Jacob is a cool guy, but Jacob just stuck in the 80s. That's the issue I'm having with Jacob. he's just stuck in the 80s.
What, Didi, what year was Sesame Street? You sure it didn't go farther than the 80s?
Really? See, you know what? I need some new. Where's Nana? Because y'all just listen to talk about somebody else. Y'all don't keep talking about Jacob.
Look,
why we can't talk about Haley? Y'all keep picking on Jacob.
Look,
listen,
Kiali, hold on, and Kia, one more time for the culture.
He'd have done good in a dancehall clash. He would have, I tell you.
Guess what? I'm not
one
begging
more time for the culture.
Because Kiali is the same one that will leave me at the airport. So Kiali, come on now.
Girl, I keep telling you, I do love to party. I'm not Holly Homemaker.
Okay, Lola says Jacob's sexy legs, you hating. I don't look at a man like that. Sorry.
No, sir. You can see Jacob.
Y'all know I'm not gonna change. I think, like I said, because the way she treated him, I'm gonna always be Team Jacob because I just don't appreciate how she treated him. That just was, for the cameras, and she tried to present herself as this nice girl, and I just don't like it. So if Jacob, nice. Came on with, a tutu on,
she's definitely not nice.
Well, look, I agree. Kia, I agree with you. I agree with you, and I agree with Diali. But I'm Team Diali today. I'm not Team Kia today. Sorry.
Even the Libra the Best said that she agreed with me. Y'all just, double teaming me today. So I'm not gonna change.
But Jacob, we're Batty Rider, Kia. Jacob in a Batty Rider.
Look, Jacob was trying to seek attention. He was trying to get some attention.
And that's what I said. He likes to push the envelope. That's what I said. Maybe his boss made him mad. And he was like, I'm going to show up to the company picnic and just show all y'all whatever. Who knows? Jacob he's just like, he like that shock factor. Like, hey.
Oh, no. Shock the hell out of me.
Maria. Thicker than a sticker. They work on but
no, that's why I love Maria. Maria didn't sell it as is, yo.
Yeah, tell the truth, Maria.
Yeah, thicker than a sneaker. But anyways, we gotta move on to the other couples. We gotta move on to the other couples because I don't want Kia to start crying. We don't wanna we don't want Kia to start crying over here. We love Jacob. We love Jacob thick thighs, thicker than a sneaker.
No, sir. No.
We don't want Kia crying over him. Let's move to Miss Licorice, I call her, because every time she and Ryan talks, all she does is think about what she's gonna do by the end of the night.
She ain't doing nothing but using her left hand. She ain't doing nothing. She ain't doing nothing at all. Ryan ain't that way inclined to her. Yeah, so her and her Dale and her better just accept it. Accept it from now before it comes to the end.
And what Ryan, his vocabulary, yeah, sure, yeah, sure, yeah, sure, yeah. Like, doesn't Ryan have any other words in his vocabulary? Like,
you know what, Didi? You know what, Didi? Ryan should be the one sporting Jacob's Batty Rider because he's the one that's more likely to be wearing them.
But let's go here. Ryan tells people what like you said, he's short, but he be saying stuff that don't even make sense. And I'm glad Dr. Pepper called him out on his mess. So I'm like, well, I don't want the value of love to, lessen because I keep saying it. She's like, well, I tell my children and my husband every time I hang up, I love you. So how does it lessen the value? Ryan, stop telling these lies. Who have you been talking to your whole life? Who's allowed you to tell these lies? Ryan, just tell Clara that you don't want to have sex with her. He keep mentioning that stuff about religion and faith. He started off with that. Listen, Clara was in high school or middle school listening to Usher Confessions. So that should tell you about what type of party she was doing. Because if I tell you, Confessions, that was a bad CD.
Like I tell you, the song Clara should have listened to was "You Got It Bad." When you're licking that licorice and you ain't getting nothing back, girl, you got it bad. She got it bad,
yeah,
because she licking that licorice and she ain't getting nothing back. So, I don't know. Clara, I don't know. At this point, I'm not feeling sorry for Clara anymore because Clara acts. I think Clara have split personalities. 1 minute Clara is acting okay, and next minute she's sexually frustrated, and next minute she's venting to her girlfriends, the girls in the group. And when you see Dr. Pepper or if Pastor Carl, whoever comes and speak to Clara, Clara always act like everything is going okay. And then what she really wants, she's not getting it. Because she told him if he don't say he love her within 6 months, she's gone.
But Dee, that don't make no sense what she's saying. She's got more things to worry about. The man telling me I love you. I'd be more pissed that the man's not broken up my back every night, you know. And all he's getting me to do is lick on licorice. I mean, that's an offense? I'd be so offended. He wouldn't even be using me like that. You know, if he wants to be talking about his Christian and all that, well, we can do Bible together. You know, we can read a couple scriptures. But you're not going to be telling me you're a Christian and next minute you're telling me, you know, put your head this way. He's making a fool of her. He's making a fool of her. And I'm sorry, I'm like you. I don't feel sorry for her because you cannot tell me she doesn't know. This man is using her. He's using her. He's telling her, you know, we are never going to be like that. We are never going to be like that. And but just to keep it in the show, he's telling her, oh, yes, our children. He knows he ain't going to be sticking it to her anytime soon.
But I just said that because he's not trying to have any oops babies with her. But let's go here. Did you catch that part when Dr. Pepper, when she was talking to Dr. Pepper and she said that she asked for this? So did you notice how she's now starting to take the blame because
yes,
living one lie? Like,
she's a victim.
How are you on yourself?
I'm glad.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I'm glad you bring up that point, but go ahead.
I was just saying, like, how is it your fault? You wanted a guy that didn't just want to just have sex with you, but then she goes, so it was just a whole mess. But then Dr. Pepper called it. Dr. Pepper was on point. She been on point lately. Dr. Pepper, like, she was tired. Like, she's tired. She just as tired as us. Dr. Pepper, like, listen, let's stop playing these games. If Ryan gave you some tonight, would you go for it? Yes, but that's not what you just said. Oh, well, but if I don't want to rush him, Claire, stop licking and playing with that man. It's not going to happen. He don't want to have an oops baby with you because he's standing by his belief, whatever it is. And I hope we find out because I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Look, Wolverine does not want to go there, right? Wolverine and that magic hair and those royal ears that he's got sticking out does not want Jay Leno and that chin. Yeah, she's letting this man use her, and she's there blaming herself, feeling sorry for herself. Why don't you just wire your mouth shut at night, you know, and just go to sleep because he's not interested in you, and stop letting him use you.
Diali and Kia, at this point, all I want to know, and I want Dr. Pepper to ask Ryan that question is, how many licks does it take till you get to the center of that Tootsie Pop?
No way.
I want to know because Ryan, every time they ask Ryan a question, all Ryan says, yeah, sure. I want to know. The world wants to know how.
Ryan wants to make sure he's gonna get service tonight. Yeah, he don't want her turning around and saying, no, I don't want to do it tonight. He wants to make sure she's using her hand or her mouth. It's as simple as that.
Diali, at this point, let's be honest, none of us even care at this point. We just like, girl, stop licking. At what point do you realize that it's not being reciprocated?
Yeah.
I mean, like, how slow are you? I mean, I'm like, it just wouldn't happen with me. So at this point, if Claire want to be, you know, with doing what she's doing, we just gonna let her be. But yeah, if she don't get it,
Wolverine couldn't come with that chat with me. Yeah. From when he's telling me to use my mouth like that, I'm expecting a damn good night. I'm expecting that we ain't sleeping the whole night. You want that from me, darling? You've got to work for me. Let me tell you. And if he didn't put out that night, that's it. That's me and him over. We'll have separate rooms.
But Diali, it wouldn't even happen the first time.
Exactly.
You provide a service, and then they don't. They like, okay, you all set. You like what? All set? Okay, no. So again, I don't know what's going on with Clara, but it just seemed like her mother trying to dump her off on somebody because the dad didn't say much. But the mama was just like, oh, I'm so happy. Girl, you don't even know him. You just want your daughter to be married. Okay.
But look, Maria asked a good question. I just want to know what exactly does Clara love about Ryan? And that's true because I'm trying to figure out what did she like or love about Ryan? Like,
I think it's a fact if she really had a thing about X-Men. I think she had a thing about X-Men and she missed Wolverine. Because remember, Wolverine was quite buff, you know. Wolverine was a bit ripped.
Diali.
Apart from his legs in his hand.
Diali, we're trying to have a serious conversation.
So, to Maria's question, Diali, calm down. So to Maria's question, I just think that it's not love. I think she just says that she's in love with the ideal of love. Because she just finally found somebody that's kind of nice and just don't come off as a jerk, but he really is a jerk. She just don't see it. We notice that he's a jerk. I don't care what type of religious beliefs you have, the way he's coming off is a jerk. Because there's no way that you know this girl likes you. So if you know somebody likes you, why are you letting her perform these acts knowing that she wants more?
He's using her. On a serious note, even though I do think he's messed up looking, on a serious note, he's using her. And he's another one. He's another Chris. He's trying to use the Bible and his Christian beliefs. If he was a good Christian boy and he believed in that, he wouldn't be letting her perform nothing on him because he wouldn't want her to feel used. He's using her. And she comes from a background where all men do is she wants to please men. She wants to please men. She's a people pleaser. She will do whatever to please that man. And fingers crossed that man will say, oh, I love you.
You know what's Clara's problem? Clara comes up as that type of person that I've never had I think she's never been with a man that probably of substance. That's what I would put it as. So to her, that marriage, she finally found a man of substance to her because she must have been around guys that have been douchebags to her mostly all her life.
Okay,
so now that she
I always call it. So based on my observation, Clara, like you said, had some dog men. And Clara's mama basically was like, finally somebody that we can, that we can get along with. And so I think Clara is just trying to keep Ryan around because he seems like that perfect match that'll fit in cookie cutter life. So I think that's what it is. Like she wants to prove a point. Like, okay, I can have a man, a nice man, decent man. So I just
there's no sexual contact apart from what he's trying to use her for. And it's a shame for her because she is going to be so burned at the end of this. And I tell you something, he's such a narcissist. He will go through to the end and he will say he wants to stay married to her. And she's just going to be miserable because he's not reciprocating nothing. There's no love there. Why is she waiting for this man to say, I love you, when there's nothing that says he loves her? He does not love her. He doesn't even feel love towards her.
Yeah, but do you think the two of them will stay together?
Yeah, he will.
You think
because
so?
He's calling the shot. Yeah, he will. He's not going to divorce her. He's going to do it just for the sake of keeping faith in his family.
Remember they had that conversation about the kids and the religion. That's why I think they might not stay together because Ryan would not want to have kids with a woman. Maybe that's just my theory.
Didi, let me tell you, that is an excuse. That is an excuse, a total excuse. He's going to use that. If anything, if he doesn't go through with the marriage at the end, when, in the final stage, he's going to use that as an excuse because look, he's picking on her, knowing full well he doesn't even really want her. He doesn't want her. And it's not just always about sex. It's about, someone wanting you and having that husband that can be your best friend as well as a great lover. But there's no chemistry at all from his side. He plays up for the camera. Whenever you watch him on camera, he's got a lot of contact with her. He'll touch her and put his hand on her knee and hold her hand, but that's all for show. He's not into her.
But look, Ryan, like I said, you have to admit there's something weird about Ryan. So I don't know who suggested this book to me, but I'm starting to read this book now. Men Who Hate Women and the Women Who Love Them. So far, so good. So I think that he has some deep issues, but he wants to have this lifestyle, the perfect, the children and all this other good stuff. But I don't think he doesn't want Clara. Like I said, he wants a wife, children, and just let's go back to them cabinets. I'm not gonna let y'all forget that. So with the cabinets, you remember his house looked clean on the outside, everything looked perfect, but inside those cabinets were a mess. How do you not know that your condiments are falling down? So he wants to portray something to a perfect life, to America, to the world, to his family, or whoever he's trying to portray this life to. But Ryan is not interested in Clara. I would suggest that she runs, but she feels comfortable because he's probably the best that she's ever had, treated her, nicely, but she don't see what we see. We're looking at it like, okay, Ryan's coming off as a nice guy, but he's really not a nice guy. He just short. So he just
Look, your girl Nana said they'll stay together because it's a mutual beneficial situationship, but she thinks it's a relationship. So what do you think about that? That makes a lot of sense what Nana just said.
Yeah, Nana's right.
And I do agree to a certain extent that she will stay as long as he's willing to play. And that's a problem for a lot of women. We let the men control what we do. So just because he wants to stay, she'll probably stay. So that's not a good look. Sometimes you have to just say, what do I want? So in this case, she needs to sit down and reflect and say, what works best for me? Not what this man decides. Because basically she's waiting for him to make a decision, what he wants. He has total control. He has not considered her once during this process. Because again, that woman want more and you're not giving her anything. Like she's going to bed frustrated.
But Kia, sorry to interrupt you. She doesn't value herself. She doesn't see herself as quality. And I've been,
she has a low self-esteem.
Yeah, she got very low self-esteem. And I've been there myself, with my ex-husband. I didn't value myself enough to say, you know what? Let me just kick him to the curb because he's not worth it. He's not worth it. If I don't feel content in myself, what am I still in the marriage for? Why is she still in the marriage? Why is she still there? What, so she can, suck his lollipop at night?
But Diali, like I said, we have to consider, like I said, it's a growth process because we've all been there before. And when you get older, like you said, you go through certain things and you see things differently. And thank God that you were able to overcome those situations. Thank God that I was able to overcome them. Because sometimes I look back at some stuff and be like, oh no, like you let people make decisions for you or decide how the path go. So basically, Clara's going to stay into that relationship until Ryan says no more. Whether he gets 2 kids out and decide to divorce her, Ryan is already setting up the stage. Basically, Ryan has control over that entire relationship and how it goes. And Clara is in it until when she said, I'm leaving in 6 months. She's not leaving in 6 months if he don't say I love you. She's still going to be there, like you said, asking how many licks to the lollipop, what Dee just said.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Wolverine is calling the shot there, let me tell you. Wolverine going to call the shots until he's ready to go back to the X-Men set. Yeah, interested in her. You're not interested.
Let's talk about Eric and Virginia. That man,
the dad and child.
You know what I hate about Eric? And I know hate is a strong word, but you see every time he throws that I love you out there, I do not like when that man do that because he's just using that I love you to manipulate Virginia. That's what he does. Like he'll be like, I love you, babe, like we'll work on this, that, whatever. And he keeps on throwing that I love you out there. Why he's really abusing that I love you word?
He's a master manipulator. And he's trying to, remember, he's got literally 10 years on her. He's manipulating her. And he puts her up. He has a few good days with her where she feels good and they play the basketball together. And then he'll find an opening and he'll just keep jabbing until she's low again and she's crying and she's in all emotion. I mean, remember, all he has to do is tell her about her dog and she's in tears.
Yeah, I don't know. But the dad said she has trust issues, and the sister says, Eric's sister says that he wants a ride or die woman. But I more think he's not a ride or die woman. He wants a woman that he can control. That's exactly what he wants. And Virginia is not. She's not controllable.
Yeah.
She's
Trey
not.
in the chat, yeah, Trey in the chat said he's a control freak. He's a control freak, most
Yeah, he
definitely.
is.
So let's go here. When the dad shared with Eric that she has trust issues and it takes a lot to gain her trust, Eric says what sounds good. Okay, when he talked to her later on, well, okay, well, you can trust me and this, whatever. And he always says the things that sounds pleasing to the ear. But then when the cameras are not there, you're cussing her out in the kitchen. You're saying all kind of crazy stuff. So how can someone trust you and feel safe if you're not, your actions are not saying what you're showing what you're saying? So Eric, he's a master manipulator, because if you've seen the end of the thing, he mentioned something about why are you talking about this with the cameras on? So Eric, I don't trust him with Virginia. Although she has a drinking problem, he's not a good fit because he's a manipulator and he's out of control. He wants to control her, as you said, Dee Dee. You know, he wants to control her. That's a I so hate that term. Ride or die is just like, what do you want? Like, you want me to just be stupid for love? That's what ride or die means. Most people they died together. Them ride or dies, they died.
Ride or die.
Yeah,
So, I don't need a ride or die, because see, that's not
No.
you know, we just use that term, but it's, to me, when people say ride or die, everybody I've known pretty much that ride or die was just stupid.
But
Yeah,
you know, I'm feeling, for me, the sister was trying to give Virginia signs that eventually, because the sister, you could see some of the stuff she was saying, eventually Virginia will not be waking up on the floor from alcohol. She might probably be getting up from the floor from a punch or a shove, because that's what it looks like that man is going to get to eventually. Because
he's going to be grabbing her up in her neck. Most definitely, he's going to be grabbing up her neck. He's Jekyll and Hyde. He reminds me of Jekyll and Hyde. You know, one face, he's a good guy. Next face, when the cameras are away, you know, he's Dr. Evil. He's another one that's going to end up on the ID channel with her. I'm telling you, in my opinion.
Let's just go here. We, like I said, we keep saying we're tired. The experts did an awful job, because I'm like, what conversations did you have with these people before you put them together? Virginia's way of thinking is not on the same path as Eric. They have two different lifestyles or two different ways they see marriage. Virginia wants to just be party all the time. I don't understand why I can't spend the night at my friend's house. You see, she keep bringing that up, and he's like, no, that's not acceptable. That's not what married people do. And so if you notice that Virginia's dad said the same thing she said, so it mirrored what he said, where every marriage doesn't have to be the same. You can basically create your marriage how you want to, but some things are not acceptable. Now, I don't like Eric's delivery, but again, them experts suck. Okay, they are giving us a headache.
I kind of get where she's coming from, because I got into trouble with that when I was first married. I stayed out. I rolled in at 6 a.m. in the morning. Remember, I was married to a Jamaican man, and you know they don't really play that. You know, you come and go as you please. So we were always arguing about that.
But I get, like, for me that wouldn't work, because if the shoes was on the other foot, you wouldn't be coming in the house at 6 o'clock. We're talking about you fell asleep. So let's say I'm married and you're my husband, and you tell me that you fell asleep on your friend that's a female couch, and you just decided you were drunk. What she say? Oh, I was drinking. I'm lonely. It was raining, and she's just on the a whole big little scenario. But at the end of the day, I think she just wanted to be married, and she wanted to create her own marriage, or what type of marriage where she views as a marriage. But I just don't think Virginia was ready for marriage, and Eric is not the right person to be around in her state.
Eric has insecurity problems. That man is very, very insecure, because I guess maybe because of his job, because, you know, he's a pilot, he's not home all the time. So he's very insecure. Virginia never had boundaries. So that's how the two of them they will never work, because he's very insecure. She never had boundaries. So she likes to do what she's accustomed of living a party life, drinking, you know, sleeping at her boyfriend's homes, getting up on the sofa. And his insecurities are when he travels, like probably his wife might cheat, or his wife might do something, or when he's not around, they're doing something. So I do not see how the two of them will work. I don't think the two of them.
Cheating? But what about him cheating? He's the one that's got the opportunity to cheat.
Well, that's true in his job, but if you notice, he's like, he wants to be controlling. So to him, he can probably be cheating, and he wouldn't, like, because he's doing it his wife or his girlfriend would not have to do it because he's the one in control. And then he
Yeah.
can probably boast to his friends, his male friends, that yeah, I got this chicken in whatever state, and then I got my wife at home, and I've seen documentaries and pilots already where some of them have a child in each state they fly to.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think but his insecurities is just getting the best of him. And she now never had boundaries, and the boundaries he wants to set for her, she's not ready for those boundaries.
But
Yeah,
that's
she
what
should
I'm
never
saying.
have got
With
married.
experts, like I know, opposites attract, and you balance people out. But if you feel strongly, it's like these people on this show feel strongly about the things that they feel strongly about, and some things are big things. Some things you can compromise on, but some things you just like. If you try to compromise and you don't have that same belief system, you're going to be miserable. And it's just like it's going to happen. Divorce is going to happen, or you're going to be miserable for 14 years until somebody finally just like, you know what? But Eric, he's looking for basically, he wants to control. He has this vision of how he wants it. Virginia, she doesn't see it that way. So that's not going to work.
Virginia
All right,
Virginia wants the bottle of drink. Virginia don't want Eric. Virginia wants the bottle of drink. I think it was a good idea in her little tiny pea head mind, to get married and for the status and for the show. But the reality is, like how I found out, coming and going at 6 a.m. just isn't going to work in a marriage.
Okay, let's jump on Champion, Vinny, and Brie, and for so I can close this
White
up.
Peter, in my opinion.
No, Diali, why you keep on saying that?
I'm telling you, he's got a short fuse. I'm telling you, and Minnie Mouse is pissing him off. I'm telling you.
You think he'll get to the point where he raises his hand and Brie?
No, I don't think Diali.
Now, Diali, you're trying to make me go back to Kia's Team Kia because I don't think he's a wife beater. I honestly don't think he's a wife beater.
I think he's a pleaser.
He looks like he struggles with expressing himself, because I think when he said he didn't grow up with a dad, it was I think he never really experienced having a dad in his life. I'm not too sure.
So what is to know is, did Vincent ever get any counseling? Because that may be a good thing for Vincent, because he seemed like even when they were having the lunch or whatever dinner they were having, he still seemed like he was like, pretty like touched by it, or, kind of, feeling it. So maybe he need to go and have someone, a professional, go through the things of his past so he can be a healthier individual for his present wife and be able to deal with things. So I think that's why he's so like sensitive about things, because he hasn't dealt with his past. So I think he just needs to deal with some things. He was poor. A lot of times when you see people that were poor growing up, when they get a couple of dollars, they'll spend it recklessly because they were trying to make up for their childhood, what they didn't have. So Vincent, he's still young. He still has time. I think counseling would be healthy for him if he hasn't already went.
Yeah, well, Vincent, no, for me, like I say, I'm from the Caribbean, so I know a little bit about of what he's talking about. And what do you think about when Brie spoke about that color issue she had growing up?
I understood that because
I understood it as well. I understood it as well.
Yeah, I went through. Well, probably not in Brie's way, but I know I used to hate it as well. I hated my skin color when I was younger, especially teenage. I wanted, the first thing you think is you want to be light, you want to be, you want to be a red skin girl and whatever. But I can't stand how I used to think, because it's a stupid way of thinking, because I love myself now. I love my color. And I've got a daughter who's literally the same dark skin as me, and she's absolutely beautiful. And Brianna she's such a beautiful woman, honestly.
Yeah.
But I felt bad for her then, because I used to think the same stupid ways.
Yeah, because I went through that same. Because when I was younger, I used to play a lot of soccer. They call it soccer in America. We call it football in the Caribbean. And I always used to be in the sun. And since I always in the sun, I used to be darker than I am. And then I used to get so many people teasing me, calling me all sorts of names.
Yeah.
And they'll quicker take to the lighter skinned black people. But it's a little it's something like I think maybe darker skin people go through that experience, which is really sad. But also, it gets to a point where you just accept that as your skin color, and you just get to a point where some people don't. But then I go to the point I just accepted that's my skin color, and I just didn't care what nobody say about me. Like, they would give me jokes, I'll just laugh with them, and then eventually they just stop giving me jokes. So I understand where she was coming from with that, but I just didn't like where she moved from. Straight from that, she moved straight into the high blood pressure and the baby. And I was like, okay, Brie, like, you just had a moment, like, just give it some time before you actually jump into talking about the kids and your high blood pressure.
She don't want no kids with him. She just don't want no kids with him, and he's not getting that. She don't want no kids with him. And yeah, she may want kids later on, but that is too soon to be pressuring her into that. And he seems like, even when the experiment's over, he wants kids within, 3 to 6 months. That's too soon.
Well, D Alley. So first, I want to give a shout out to the Mineral Gang, because they're like all the way live in the chat today. So nobody probably knows what it is, but they're
shout out to Michelle for the super sticker.
But let's go here. Bree wants Vincent to live that 9K life, okay? She's not about to have big kids with him. You can't even wake up and live this 9K life. So she's basically like, I don't think she doesn't want to have kids with him. I think she just using that blood. Now, I'm not going to say she's trying to use that blood pressure as an excuse, but I think she like, just show me. I mean, they only been together for 2 months. You talking about having kids? We could talk about it, but she's not about to drop a baby in like a year, and he haven't shown that he can produce those financials. Because let's say, for example, she's on bed rest and she can't, make money the way she's, making it right now. Can I depend on you? So right now he's in the bed, sleep, talking about he need a nap, and he did explain why he sleeps in, because he on the road all day and he's checking his phone at night and whatever. But you have to build that trust with anyone before someone is willing to give you a baby. So we've only known each other for 2 months. Looking at the experts, they didn't do such a good job, so I don't know if I can trust you yet. You showing up kind of good, but I'm not gonna tell you I'm gonna give you a baby in 6 months to a year, or how soon he's trying to do it.
I ain't giving that wife beater no baby. You mad? I ain't giving him no baby, and I'm telling you now, I ain't taking it back about him. I'm telling you, he's giving off wife beater vibes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But on a serious
well, for your situation, allegedly the man is a wife beater, because like you said, he needs therapy, or he probably needs counseling, because like he is struggling with something within him. But I do not think it gets to the point where he might raise his hand on Brie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But that whole married at first sight, I think, to me, they're the only 2 couples I think that can work. All the other couples,
I do think, sorry to cut you, Dee, I do think he's not making enough. He's not making the money that she's making.
Well, let's go here.
Something tells me he's not making that money. And he wants all these expensive holidays. He wants all this expensive this. How come he's never been all these places before then? And how come he hasn't got a fitted shirt? How come he hasn't got a shirt that's not ripping at the seams? Why is this man walking around in tight shirts?
But let's go here. Let's just like sum that relationship up real quick. So with Vincent, there's nothing worse than being with a man that has some insecurities, like deep-rooted insecurities that he have not dealt with. Because again, we're talking short term. We're talking about will they make it throughout the show. We might be able to check their Instagram a year or so later and they're still together. But again, it's going to happen that it's not going to work out if he remains and does not address his insecurities or his deep demons that he needs to address. Those are issues that you cannot ignore. When you have issues as a man, you're not healthy to run that household or to be able to be the best man he can be. So with a woman like Bree, he gonna have to step his game up and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, they're not on the same level. I mean, when she was doing that dumbass tap dancing thing, come on, man, you're past that stage now. Clearly it ain't working for you. Go stick to what you know. She looked like a bloody idiot.
But I've been in that type of relationship. That's why I can relate when I said, when you have a man that's insecure and, you're doing all these great things and you're trying to basically put yourself in a position to basically you're trying to put the lid over yourself. You dimming your light because you're trying to compensate for him. And again, that's a miserable place. Been there, done that. it's miserable. And eventually Bree's going to get tired. So again, they might make it a couple of years, but eventually she's going to be like, look, big baby, I need you to put it together. So
yeah, but Kia,
go ahead.
But Kia, she's a selfish wretch, She's selfish. You know that thing that pissed me off about her? When she's still waking up this man with her foolishness at 6 a.m, she's taking the absolute piss. She's taking the piss, and she didn't even want to compromise. She just dumbed it down, and she couldn't see what was wrong with it. Anybody who drives knows how dangerous it is when you're tired.
Alan made a good point. She made a good point. After she saw the budget, she didn't want any kids. And I think that is the financial stability. That's what Bree is probably afraid of in the future.
But
don't blame her.
She's right. My mother-in-law told me some years ago, she said the older you get, the less you care. So when I was 20, I was a little bit more refined, 30, a little bit, now I just say whatever. Like I said, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. So Bree hasn't got to that point where she just direct and say, hey, Vincent, this is what the problem is. So again, she had goals prior to Vincent, and she just trying to basically live this lifestyle, and she wants to make sure that he's able or capable of doing that. So basically she's like, dude, you're sleeping. Like I had a guy that I was with, dude, you can't afford to sleep till noon. What are you doing? The birds are chirping for you. If I got up, got dressed, and went to work, why am I calling you and you still sleep? This dude will be asleep to noon.
Yeah. You ain't getting no money. You can't afford to sleep.
Exactly. So Bree just got blunt like that. But I was like, dude, you need to wake up. You need to be up with me, trying to figure out what to do. You're not making that type of money where you could take a nap.
You know where you went wrong though, Kia. You should have called him outside to look at the lock and just lock the door on him and say goodbye.
Well,
crazy.
Yeah, we don't go wide straight because it was something, it was some other than the finances at the time. I was, it was some other good things going on.
But look,
but
let me tell you guys, look, everybody have a tap dancer in them. You know why? Just take a mouse and drop it in a room. What do we do?
You start dancing.
Look,
you cannot tell me
Bree trying to make tap dancing look harder. She's trying to make tap dancing look harder. Just drop a mouse in the room and we're gonna start tap dancing. I'm telling you.
Said the same thing. If he was direct, if Bree was direct, all she gotta do is just be direct. That's why Vincent not getting it. You have to be direct. Men are not mind readers. If you're going around telling him you want him to wake up just for breakfast, like, oh baby, I just want to eat breakfast with you and hold hands and look at the sunrise. Girl, that's not really the only reason why you want him to wake up. You want him to wake up so you can live this lifestyle. You want to buy them $250 braids. You want to pay for manicures, pedicures, go on trips, and eat out and do all these nice things. The things you were doing before you met him. Let's just be real. Bree, say what it is.
She didn't want him to sleep in because no working man, in her opinion, making big dollars is going to be sleeping in. But I'm telling you now, Vincent needs his sleep and he's going to snap on her and we're going to be watching him on the ID channel, in my opinion.
The only way you can be sleeping at noon in my life right now is like you trading stocks all night and you watching the stock market and you made money.
Exactly.
But other than that, you can't sleep at noon and just be like, okay, there's no money coming in or not enough.
Yeah, I think she's selfish. She's selfish. I'm sorry. She's selfish.
I'm really starting to get bored of Married at First Sight. I don't know. My focus level for it is going down.
I'm over it. I think everyone is over this show because the experts were poor at selecting. I don't know if they just wanted to drive us crazy, but we're like, how? How did y'all?
But you know what? I was grateful that shiny face page, and droopy eyeballs, Chris wasn't on there, because I tell you, I would have just lost my mind seeing them two fools on there.
After the last episode, when Paige Weave was I don't know, Weave wasn't doing too right. She wasn't doing all right. She needed a break.
She was having a bathroom break, yeah, and she put that wig on the doll's head, and then they said, "Oh, Paige, we got to film," and she had to rush and put it on. She didn't have a chance to look in the mirror or nothing. And that's what happened with that mashed up wig that she had on.
Yeah, like I don't know, but I honestly, I think she just needed a break from being on screen, which was good for her.
Oh, we
But
needed a
Chris,
break.
I don't know.
I can't stand
I
Chris,
honestly, I
yeah.
was really happy I didn't see the two of them. I was happy because that whole thing started with focusing on two of them, and I think Paige needed that break from the camera. But anyways, guys,
Yeah.
let's wrap it up. Diali, any last words?
I think, in my opinion, I think Bree should just let Jacob sleep before she ends up on another channel, doing something else. We're all watching her, and then everybody in the chat saying Diali was right, in my opinion. Clara, Clara, leave Wolverine alone. Leave Wolverine alone. Wolverine don't want you. Wolverine just wants you to suck on that lollipop, and that's it. Yeah, he ain't making no babies with you. He ain't staying married to you for the next 60 years. And he ain't going to tell you he loves you because he's going back to the set. X-Men.
Kia, let's go.
So first, I want to pray that Diali is not right about Vincent.
Thank you.
To all the people that are watching, I just hope that we are getting lessons from this show. Although the relationships are trash, we are learning. We are, looking at these relationships, and we are just critically thinking, and we're thinking like what we should do and what we should not do in a relationship, and we're learning from these people's. It's just use it as a lesson, although it's for entertainment. Shout out to my channel, Kia Simone. Don't forget to get my book, From Pain to Love. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Peace.
Yeah, go get my girl book. Like you say, women of power, Kia Simone. Subscribe to her channel, get a book. And my word, well, Kia, what I wanted to say, Kia said it. Like for me, this season of Married at First Sight was basically a learning lesson. Like we see the different struggles, the different problems. We saw a lot that whether it be you're a Christian, you're a Catholic, you don't believe in Christianity, whatever you go through in life, whatever color you are, you could be black, white, Chinese, it just shows a lot of what people go through in their relationships. And basically we can just learn from this and not allow ourselves, even as a man or woman, to just fall into these type of behaviors, because a lot of those behaviors we see in that show is just not right and it's not acceptable. And basically it will help you be a better person in a relationship. So, and you can see all the red flags. It shows a lot of red flags that people see in those relationships. So when you start seeing those red flags, my advice to you, if you're not married, get out. If you're married, I would still advise you to get a divorce, because it's just not right.
Well, yeah, take it to God first before you get a divorce.
Yeah, you can take it to God, Kia, but isn't that what Paige have been doing, honey?
No. She wasn't listening. So you could take something to God, but you have to be in tune to what he was saying. So that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother lie. Paige, I don't know what she was doing. She was doing tarot. She was willing to do a tarot card reading. Paige was willing to go anywhere to get some information. So no, that's different. You have to be in tune before you just make a decision. But I don't believe you're in tune.
Well, yeah, that's probably for another show. But it was just a learning lesson for me, like, because when I saw Paige and Chris, I was like, why is Paige sticking around? But then it was really much of a learning lesson for me. Men like Ryan, I'll never understand them. Like, I just think Ryan lessons just come out and see what he really wants and what's on his mind. Vincent needs help. Vincent needs help. He needs to speak to a counselor. He needs a therapist. He needs to learn how to express himself and his emotions. Chris is just a narcissist, like, to the max. I don't know. I just don't like Chris. Eric is a master manipulator. So, anyways, thanks everyone in my chats. And before I go, like I said, we gotta do it one more time for the culture. My boy Jacob in his Daisy Dukes. My boy Jacob in his Daisy Dukes. For the culture, I did it.
Didi, you trying to fall out with me. You trying to fall out, but peace.
Yeah, I gotta go out with a bang. You understand? I can't go out like this. Somebody will need to start a GoFundMe page to get Jacob some 90s or 20s clothes, not the 80s. So on free, we're gonna say bye, guys. Don't forget to leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and do not forget to share my video. Hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up. And do not be a Jacob getting caught in your Daisy Dukes. On 3, we're going to say bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.